All right. Welcome to today's live training on why your workouts are not working for you and the hormone connection no one talks about. So today I'm going to help you discover how that imbalance in your hormones can really be sabotaging your fitness efforts. And we're going to talk about a little bit about my story and what led to um, I felt like I was heading in the opposite direction and, thought that I was doing all the right things, but in the long run, I was gradually gaining weight. So it wasn't until I took a few, took a step back and really took a different approach where I was able to lose this weight, keep it off, and actually feel like I have energy and feel really, really good. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Hold one. Oh, there we go. Just push that back. Okay. So, mm, my name's Trista. I am a women's holistic health and fitness coach, and I have been in this space, in the fitness space, for almost 20 years now. So I started off with, you know, in the personal training realm, really focusing on all of my efforts in the gym. I knew nutrition was important, but I didn't truly know just how important nutrition was in terms of fueling my body properly. I was always stuck in this diet trap. I was eating very little, over exercising, was under high amounts of stress, which means my cortisol levels were extremely high, and I tended to over exercise. And of course, exercise is good for us, but anything in excess or overdoing anything can lead to um failure or lead you down the wrong path, and that is where I was years and years ago. And then I came out of that and thought that I had a little bit better of balance and realized that all of the damage I had done in my younger years is what led to me to being diagnosed with PCOS and being weight loss resistant. And I was stuck. So this transformation right here that is on the screen happened in just 8 months. I was able to lose 35 pounds, and I did way less than what I was doing in the very, what I thought worked. So today I want you to know, or I want, like, one of the biggest things I want you to take away from this quick training is that hormones are a chemical messenger that affect everything in your body, from your mood to your energy to your weight loss or weight gain. And some of these key hormones that are going to be impacting your fitness are cortisol, which, as you can see, I already mentioned that one. That led So the stress hormone can lead to breaking down your muscle and accumulating more fat when your cortisol is elevated. So we want to do everything that we can to be in a more intentional state, lowering our stress as much as we can. And I know in today's society that is very hard, as we're always on the go and feels like we're just putting everything on our plates, and we have so much, and everybody's like, I'm always so busy, I'm so busy. And I understand that. I'm still very busy as well. I have just learned to be a little more intentional with my time, so that I can help lower and regulate my stress at a different level. Insulin. So insulin is going to regulate your blood sugar levels. Imbalances can affect your energy levels as well as fat storage. And your cortisol and your insulin, those two go hand in hand. So if your cortisol is high, your insulin is going to spike. If your insulin is high, your cortisol is high. So these two, if we can, eat every couple of hours, making sure we're having a protein source with each of those, that's going to help stabilize our blood sugars, helping that insulin level. And if we can take little small breaks throughout the day to maybe do 1 minute of breath work, that will help lower some of our stress levels. And of course, just being a little more intentional with our time. Testosterone and estrogen. So these are essential for muscle growth, recovery, and just overall metabolism. And then thyroid. So your thyroid, it controls your metabolic rate. Imbalances can lead to weight gain or weight loss and energy fluctuations. So as you can see, these 4 hormones can definitely impact your fitness. And you could feel like you're doing all of the right things. You're doing the right workouts, you're eating properly. But if your stress is too high, you're in a calorie deficit for too long, or if you are over exercising, you're in this continuous diet trap, which is where I was for the longest time. So, what are some things that you can do to help balance your hormones so that you can have the most effective workouts? So first, I kind of mentioned your high cortisol, if you have high cortisol. So I do have on here a fun little quiz if you would like to take it. This is a hormone imbalance quiz. It's just a few questions. And I think this quiz alone, when you get to the end of it, it's going to send you a guide. And this guide talks about these 4 hormones that I'm talking about and 2 more, and gives you some tools, some treatments to help when your levels are elevated. So I highly suggest taking that quiz here in a minute when you have some additional time. So what can we do if our cortisol levels are high? So first of all, what causes our cortisol levels to be high? Of course, chronic stress. And our body does not know the difference between being chased by a bear or being stuck in traffic. Your body is going to go into that high fight or flight state no matter what. So let's say you're stuck in traffic and you're super, super stressed, and that is one of the things that elevates your stress level. What can you do? This is something you can't control. So maybe it's listening to some calming music, maybe it's taking some deep breaths just to help lower that stress level. When we're in that chronic high level of stress, our fat storage increases, especially around that abdominal area. You're going to lose muscle and you're going to have a decrease in motivation. When it comes to insulin, becoming insulin resistant can be due to poor diet, lack of exercise, or in my case, it was over-exercise. So just extreme amounts of exercise. And this will lead to just an overall difficulty losing weight, energy crashes, increased hunger, and cravings as well. So low testosterone, this can happen in both men and women. And I'll tell you, when I was doing my bodybuilding competitions several years ago, I had overexercised, underate, was under high amounts of stress. So all the 3 of these things. And I went and had blood work done, and my testosterone level was non-existent. And testosterone is very important in the female body. We do need it. It helps increase our motivation. It helps us lose fat. It helps increase our metabolism. It helps give us that confidence, and it helps with our libido as well. So testosterone is it's actually really great for aging as well. So if you are low on testosterone, that can be due to excessive cardio without strength training. So strength training is going to be very, very crucial to help you with your testosterone levels, as well as adequate nutrition. So if you're not properly eating, that's going to lower that testosterone levels. And so some effects of that low testosterone could include reduced muscle mass, decreased strength, lower libido, which I mentioned, and fatigue. And then last but not least is our thyroid dysfunction. So this can lead to autoimmune, or if you have a thyroid dysfunction, you could have an autoimmune condition such as hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, Hashimoto's as well. But ultimately, this comes down to being nutrient deficient. So iodine, selenium, zinc, these are some great supplements to help increase your thyroid function. So when your thyroid is not functioning optimally, it's going to slow your metabolism down, making it harder to lose weight, making you feel sluggish, cold, dry hair, brittle, nails, skin. So those are just some symptoms if you have low thyroid dysfunction. So what I wanted to really talk about today was some things that you can do to help you. Oh, we have somebody else. So something that I wanted to talk about today was what you or how you can use cycle syncing to align your workouts with your menstrual cycle so that you can work with your body instead of against your body. So cycle syncing is a way to tailor your exercise routine to the different phases of your menstrual cycle to really optimize performance and recovery. So this is based on your hormone changes. So during the beginning of your phase, that follicular phase, which is going to be days 1 through day 14, this is when you have higher levels of estrogen, you have increased energy, and you're going to have a peak in strength and performance. So the best type of exercises during this time would be high intensity interval training, some CrossFit, boot camps, Zumba, spin classes, heavy strength training, and cardio. And then during the second phase of your cycle, that luteal phase, this is when you're going to have more of that rise in your progesterone. You're going to have a little bit less energy. So maybe weights and strength training is still beneficial, but maybe not doing that high intensity interval training. And hi. So that's the follicular phase for higher intensity. So, well, during the follicular to ovulation is when you're having more energy. So right during menstruation, so days 1 through 7, your energy is actually a little bit lower. So let's see. Yeah. So during days 1 through 7, when you're on your menstrual cycle, you have lower energy. But when you get to days 7 through 14, that like follicular and ovulation phase, that is when you have your most energy. It's increasing. So that's when you want to do high intensity in training, CrossFit, boot camp, Zumba, your more high intensity stuff. Then as you hit the later end of your luteal phase, your energy is going to start drop because your progesterone is spiking. And that's when you're going to want to do Pilates, bar, yoga, walking and hiking. So I think it's important to really, listen to our bodies, implement cycle syncing. So how can you do that? I use my Oura ring to know when I'm about to start my cycle, but you can also do it based on, body temperature. Or there's a lot of apps out there. You can journal and monitor as well. Most women are going to have a typical 28 to 32 day cycle. So you can take and, base your activity levels to your cycle to really help with your overall hormones. And so, as I was mentioning at the beginning of this training, some things to really focus on is, lowering that cortisol level. If we can lower our cortisol, lower our stress levels, that's going to help us stabilize our energy. Is going to help us stay in, not be in such a higher fight or flight state constantly. And, just learning to really listen to your body, I think is very, very important when it comes to, there we go. Yes, definitely more recovery during the luteal phase. And let's get checked. Have some fun, female hormone. Yes. Yes. So checking your hormones is very important as well. So the main things I wanted you guys to take away from today was those 4 different hormones that we talked about at the beginning. Doing things to align those hormones, lowering that insulin level throughout the day. So again, your insulin and your cortisol levels, they go hand in hand. So stress management, mindfulness, meditation, adequate rest is going to be super, super important. That's going to help lower your cortisol level, improve your energy, just overall better hormonal balance. Nutrition. So focusing on whole foods. As I was talking with your insulin levels, eating small or meals every 2 to 4 hours is going to help regulate and stabilize your blood sugar. So making sure that each meal is prioritized around a protein and a fat source, and to help improve that insulin sensitivity, stabilize energy throughout the day, and really support your hormone function. Adequate sleep. This is just overall important for hormone health and recovery, energy restoration, hormone regulation, muscle recovery, all of the things. And then last but not least, supplementation if necessary. And so if you take this hormone imbalance quiz, the guide that you get at the end has the 6 different key hormones that affect our fat loss. And it has some great supplement recommendations on there if you are noticing that you have low estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, thyroid, cortisol, and your leptin and ghrelin levels. So definitely check out that guide. I think that'll be very, very beneficial. So those are my key takeaways for you guys. I hope that this was helpful. And then of course, along with those 4 tools, stress management, nutrition, sleep, and supplementation if needed, using the cycle syncing to really help you push hard when you're feeling good and strong, and kind of pulling back when you're in that luteal phase where your energy is at its lowest. So, do we have any questions on the training today? Okay.
Trista, Shelley, I was gonna start typing, but I figured it was faster to just get off mute.
Yes.
So like, what if you're postmenopausal though? So you're not really having like the cycle like we were before.
Yes. Well, that's where, still taking into effect just those small tweaks to optimize your metabolism, stress management, nutrition. So like the 30-12-4, I think that's a super great way to help with the most important thing when you're post-menopause, or, not having a cycle anymore, is making sure that you are keeping your insulin levels stable throughout the day. That is going to be crucial. So that's going to help just overall sensitivity. It's going to help lower your cortisol level, making sure you're getting plenty of sleep. There are things that you can do. So instead of using your cycle, you can use the moon cycle. So you can base your training off of a full moon. So that's another thing. But I feel like, honestly, just managing your stress, making sure that you are eating consistently throughout the day, protein and fat based meals to help lower your insulin levels, and getting adequate sleep, those are going to be most beneficial. Like keeping the stress levels down as much as possible is going to be key. Is that helpful, Shelley?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any questions, Alyssa?
No, I think Shelley kind of hit the nail on the head with her question when it came to post-menopause, or maybe even like perimenopause.
Mm-hmm.
But like bringing up the moon with menses, that's definitely a fun kind of way to keep a natural flow or cycle.
Yes.
Within the self-care regimen of exercise with recovery, and then the nutritional balance of everything else. So yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't have any questions so far. It's
sweet.
awesome.
Okay, well, thank you, ladies, for joining today's training. Make sure you take that quiz and check out that resource at the end, which is one of the newer guides I just put together. So hopefully that is very helpful for you guys. So thank you. I'll see you guys next Monday for our next training.
Thanks.
All right, bye.